say nobody well, pick me up with a golden hand. Me say, me tell you to run. Nobody say nobody I would like to hold my little hand. However, run
For most children, the world is a wonderful place, filled with loving parents and nurturing teachers. But in Matilda's world, things were a little different.
Is that my teacher? No, that's the principal, Miss Trunchbull.
Fresh meat.
Daddy, can I have a book?
What do you want a book for? Are you only 4 years old?
6.5.
You're 4.
6.5.
How old is Matilda?
4. I'm 6.5, Mommy. 5 then.
From the Wormwood House
Why would you want to read when you got the television set sitting right in front of you?
to Cruncham Hall Academy,
The principal is insane. She threw a girl over the fence by her hair.
My idea of a perfect school is one where there are no children at all.
the only thing sweeter than Matilda
I'm smart. You're dumb.
I'm big and you're small.
I'm right.
And you're wrong.
is her revenge.
No more Miss Nice Girl.
Shake, 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 Sinora, shake your body liner. Shake, 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 Sinora, shake it all the time. My girl's name is Sonora. I tell you, friends, I adore her. And when she dances, oh brother, she's a hurricane in all kinds of weather. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Somebody help me! Work, work, work.
Matilda.
The No Child Left Behind Act of 2001 was signed into law on January 8, 2002. By all accounts, it is the most sweeping education reform legislation since 1965, when President Lyndon B. Johnson passed its landmark Elementary and Secondary Education Act. It dramatically increases the role of federal government in guaranteeing the quality of public education for all children in the United States, with an emphasis on increased funding for poor school districts, higher achievement for poor and minority students, and new measures to hold schools accountable for their students' progress, and in the process dramatically expands the role of standardized testing in American public education, requiring that students in grades 3 through 8 to be tested every year in reading and math. The debate over the bill testing and accountability provision centered on such questions as whether states would maintain control over their own standards and tests, how the new mandates would be funded, how test results would be reported, where the bar would be set for defining proficiency and adequate progress, how schools would be held accountable, and whether state test scores would be compared against an independent national benchmark. At the age of 6.5, Matilda is not yet enrolled in school. She spends so much time reading, and her family does not see potential in her. When she is finally enrolled in school, the only person to see how smart and intelligent she is her teacher, Miss Honey. When Miss Honey tries to speak to the principal and the parents to inform them of how smart Matilda actually is, they choose to ignore her. no child should be denied the privilege of an education, which is where the No Child Left Behind law comes into play.
Like in the movie Matilda, students have the right to expression. In 1965, there was a case study of Des Moines, Iowa. In Des Moines, Iowa, several students were caught with wristbands, so they caused a dismissal. However, these students were brave enough to uphold this law and have a trial for it. So the Supreme Court in Tinker v. Des Moines Independent Community School District in 1969 ruled the students and teachers for them to not shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate. However, they were supposed to express their views in an orderly way and not be judged to be disruptive. This also follows with the First Amendment, the right to expression.
In Matilda, Miss Honey is what some people would classify as the perfect teacher. She is nice, considerate, and does whatever she can to help others. Some of the examples would be when Matilda first starts school, that she's teaching them the multiplication table and Matilda knows really high numbers. So she starts giving her harder work. And there's that time where she goes to her Matilda's house and drops off a book so that Matilda can read. She teaches the students what to do when the trench bowl would come to the class, that way they would be prepared and not get hurt by the trench bowl. She helped Matilda actually escape her parents and offered a home when she had nowhere else to go.
In Matilda, we see that Matilda and Miss Honey have a really close relationship, and we see that Matilda goes to Miss Honey's home and they are very comfortable. Although, according to the law, it is not legal for Matilda to be in Miss Honey's home since she is a teacher, and there is many policies and many rules that do not allow this to happen. But in law and ethics, they are not the same. We see them as different. For the perspective of the law is that we question it, is it legal? And in the ethical perspective, we questioned it as what is right. So in Matilda and Miss Honey relationship, it is not legal for her to be at her home, but we do see that Matilda has a series of misfortunate events, that she is not comfortable in her home. She is not liked by her parents, and we see that she does not have a comfortable relationship at her home. And in Miss Honey's home, she feels good and she feels okay. So then we see that there are two different perspectives that we could take this in hand.